A lot of people in our government seem to be a little past their prime. Doesn't it seem to be that way? I mean, we had grandma, Nana Janet Yellen, Nana running the Treasury, with Joseph Robinette Biden, Jr. Esquire Limited Third, falling off of bikes. We're going to show a little on that too. But how old is too old to be representing the people?
Well, when you have to install adult diaper dispensers in the buildings, in the buildings that they work in, that's too old. Sorry.
Yeah, it's the Depends vending machine that's outside of the halls of Congress. All right, Mitch. There it is, buddy. Anyway, welcome to the Rude Bard Podcast. Yeah. Let's get into this. Oh my God. Depends vending machines for members of Congress, dude. What do you think of that? Welcome to the Rude Bard Podcast, everyone. We're talking term limits today and the case for why we need them.
Yeah.
Oh my hell. Let's jump right in, shall we?
Oh, this is going to be good.
Okay, so we're going to start with our good buddy, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. And there might be a reason why we should maybe get term limits, because these people are unreal. Let's kind of get going on this and check this all out. And everyone's seen this, but we got to show it again.
Right to the United States of America, leader of that team, and he's going to cross this pedestrian crossing without too many issues. Looking good.
Looking
eyes
good.
Up, left foot's out. Good hip dexterity there. Out of the boxed pedals. So he doesn't have clip-ins, doesn't have flat pedals. He's got the cages, notoriously difficult and tricky. He's running some sort of motocross gloves or gardening gloves, not sure which. And he's doing this eyes up. He's not looking down. He's doing this just on feel, getting that left foot out. And you think, he's safe here. Where's he going to fall down? He's got the weight out, foot out. He's home and hosed. No, the problem is, look at his right foot here. He's still got eyes up. He can't get out of the box. Then he puts pressure down there. His body weight's done. At this point, he's over. And Biden goes down hard. This could be his GC over. Here we have a brain.
Oh, the commentary on that. Oh, man, it was so good.
Oh, my God. I saw that, and I was just like, oh, my God, that is too funny. And that is so... Nailed it. I mean, nailed it. Oh, my God. So let's continue with a couple more. This is why we need to have term limits, people. And not all old people are old. I mean, look at Trump. Look at Chuck Norris, after all. Yeah. These guys are awesome at their age. I told you before, a friend of mine's a Delta pilot. And I think all pilots in all airlines have to retire. Mandatory retirement. It's somewhere around 65, I think, is what it is. And isn't that usually the government's, benchmark for retirement for people, 65 up to maybe 70, 72, something like that. Yeah, and then you're done. You need to retire, right?
Yeah.
But how can these people stay in Congress and other offices until they're in their late 80s or early 90s and things like that? It makes no sense to me. And this is what we have going on in the world. You've all seen this. And this is it's just crazy. Why? And he's down.
There he goes.
And he's down. We have a Piper down. It's just like, this is what is representing. Oh, and he looks back. Oh, did you see the floor? That floor piece jumped up and tripped me as I was walking. He's right. Like, we better nail that down, right? Just like, oh my God, dude, seriously. I can't believe that you are representing the U.S. and we were just a bunch of buffoons in the eyes of the rest of the world when we see things like this from our illustrious leader. And here he is walking up some stairs. These are the back. Oh, a little trippy right there. Slight trippy, little bit of trippiness right there. And let's see this live. This is the classic one that I think everybody has seen. And this is the one that kind of started the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And let's get this going. And these are the front stairs. Oh shit!
Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm. And now I'm gonna still trot up the stairs like I haven't tripped 3 times before.
Right.
And I'm gonna. Nothing happened. Nothing to see here, people. Nothing to see.
Right. None of that happened. Well, it kind of it brings up a good point and a good question, and this is something that I've thought about for a long time. I know when you're talking about term limits, I think it's really kind of like if your faculties are there, fine.
It's one,
but if they're not, and they're things are slipping, then you should consider giving it up. There was my grandfather was a truck driver, and he drove like physically able to drive.
Yeah. I'm gonna play some of these of some of these other videos as we're talking because they don't all need to be.
Yeah. He's a very, very, really good driver, and he drove well into his latter years, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that stopped him from driving was a stroke. And it was just like, okay, he couldn't drive anymore. Yeah. But at the same time, it was just like, he had his faculties. I know 70-year-olds right now that shouldn't have driver's licenses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No. Here we go.
I mean, this is what and I'm not making fun of older folks falling. Shit happens. They break hips. My dad, when he was still alive and up there in age, fell and knocked his head right into the wall, right through the the drywall, and it was just like, oh my God, Dad, let's maybe not do that anymore if you can. And it's sad, and you might have your faculties about you, but there comes a point where these people are now making decisions for the rest of us that they don't have to abide by because they're not going to be around, And that's the other thing. It's like you're making policy decisions that'll last for decades, and you're not even going to be around. Oh, but I have children and grandchildren, all that it'll affect. Yeah, maybe. Sure you do. But it's like, come on, you are, how they say old school, they're just old school. And sometimes you need fresh ideas sometimes. And I'm not saying that, old dogs can't learn new tricks or anything like that, but there just comes a point where some of these people need to hang it up. And you got, here's George Floyd, and then virtue signaling. She's down. And remember, this was 4 years ago.
Yeah,
was that camel right there?
Cackles.
Yeah. And then let's have a moment of silence. And then I don't know who that gal is behind us trying to. Oh, there's Chucky.
Yeah.
And all that. These people are. It's just virtue. I mean, this whole thing was just a joke. I mean. And then Nancy can't get up. She can't get up. Now, I get it. You get older. I totally get it. I'm not making fun of that. What we're making fun of is the fact we're not really making fun. We're trying to make a case for the fact that these people need to hang it up. At a certain time, you need to start hanging it up. You've outserved your time. I think term limits, to be generous and to be fair, I think 20 years is way more than enough. If you can't get it done, this 30, 40, 50-year term thing that these people have is ridiculous.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that, you look at them and this is not to say that, okay, if your body is failing, then your brain is failing.
Yeah.
Not to say that at all. However, there should be more turnover. This is where the bureaucracy and the oligarchs, start falling into place, is when you don't have term limits and when you don't set limits on these people that have made these decisions for so long. Yeah. It just kind of all tends to go that way. And if you don't have the turnover with some new blood in there and a fresh take and a fresh look and just like, Doge now, cracking the books and see, well, what the hell is really going on? Then, you're doing the country and you're doing the people of your state an injustice.
Yeah. A major disservice. You're not serving them properly and doing what's best for them because you know how to play the game. You know there is a game. And then the longer you play it, the better you get at it. And that's why Nancy is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, And so here she is. Now, when you start losing your faculties a little bit and you start sounding like you're drunk, whether you are or aren't, it's time to hang up and put the bottle cap back on the bottle and throw it back in the fridge here.
Indeed, this bill puts people over politics.
Does it?
Mr. Speaker, it was sad to hear the minority leader earlier say that this legislation is the most shameful thing to be seen on the House floor in this Congress. I can't help but wonder, had he forgotten January 6th?
What is that?
Indeed, this is the day of immense patriotism. And that patriotism, we reformed the Electoral Concord Act of 1987 to thwart future attempts to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power. And as I've said before,
bullshit.
Here in the heart of our democracy. Mr. Speaker, this is truly a package for the people. With immense gratitude to Chairwoman Rosa DeLauro, Patrick Leahy, Chairman Patrick Leahy, Vice Chair Shelby.
Yeah, I mean, it goes on. It's just does this not like scream, oh my God, get out of office now, go home, be with your family, your kids, your grandkids.
Yeah, I mean, take a break.
Yeah.
Farmers are struggling with plummeting prices, great economic uncertainty, and self-inflicted damage of the Trump tariffs. I say self for our country. But Republicans wrote a bill that abandons farmers, farming families. It weakens the farmers' safety net. It slashes hundreds of millions from rural development initiatives, cutting small businesses, loan guarantees, and adding new layers of bureaucracy to high-speed broadband.
Okay, I really didn't care what she was saying. It was how she was saying it. And you look at her, just like you look at all these others who are there, and you're like, oh my God, we cannot be run by our great grandparents or our grandparents. When they're survivalists. They are congressional survivalists. That's all they care about. They will do anything, say anything for money. They will do anything and say anything to stay in power. And I'm not talking the younger ones aren't doing the same thing because they're learning the lessons as well. But it's like, we really need people to represent. And you and I were talking about this earlier. These congressional salaries for a House member is about $175,000. And I think you and I were talking about, if we made this really where it was a sacrifice, where you really were working for the people and you were sacrificing for the betterment of society, we'll pay you 50, 60 grand a year. That's your salary. That's what it is. It's not going to go up. It might go up a little bit in 10 years, depending on inflation and things like that. But maybe you guys get the economy back under control so we don't have such high inflation, so we don't have interest rates going up, so we don't have the high cost of living keep increasing so much. Because when I first moved here, I mean, it's been 30 years plus, and it's like, okay, you could get a house where we're at right now for probably, obviously depending where you are, but the average house was in the 100s, 150s, and now that same house today is $500,000-$700,000 to get into. So if members of Congress kind of, took their own medicine that they put on for everybody else, and they had to live off of less, And they didn't get to keep increasing the budget, which is why Doge is so very important. And those who are complaining, those of you who think it's a bad thing, don't get it. It's your taxpayer dollars that are being wasted, by the way.
Well, I was just looking this up real quick. I'm going to do the math here. You've got, 435 members?
Yeah.
And you times that by, let's just say 175K, right?
Yeah.
So the number is staggering. Yeah. And that's paying their salaries. You know what I mean? And that is, like you just said, Barn, that is coming out of the taxpayer pocket.
Yeah.
This
is our money.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. This is our money. And we have people who don't care. And now they're getting older. And this is what the world is seeing. Not only, we got a guy who's freezing up, the turtle himself, who needs to go away and retire, go to some home. Dude, something is seriously wrong with you, dude. I'm telling you.
Well, it's almost like that.
Go.
It's like he had a stroke, you know what I mean? A while ago, and they're just putting him up there as a puppet.
Yeah.
And
the handler's like this lady right here in pink. She's sitting there like, well, and making excuses for it. And they all know that, oh my God, this guy is not well. And, here's some more. I have a hard time hearing you. I mean, and he sits there. Can you hear that at all?
No, can't hear that one.
And he freezes up again. I'll turn the sound off. And he freezes up. You running for re-election 2026? And we're going to need a minute. You're going to have to speak up and talk so you can hear him a little bit better. I mean, it's like, oh my God, I'll play a couple more of these. I'll just turn the sound off so we can kind of talk over it. But he's catatonic.
Yeah.
Half the time. We can't have our representatives in government catatonic, walking in walkers, falling and breaking their hips. I mean, it's sad. I don't want to make fun of it, but this is a freaking joke.
Yeah, and representatives like this, is that what we want?
Yeah,
representing us? Are people like this?
He doesn't represent me,
right? In the
Kentucky anyway, but
yeah. Are they in the best interest of the average American? Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, it's my opinion, but I don't think so, and I think it's sad. And it's just like the thing that they did with
falling. Who put that other stair? That was a little higher than the normal, and now you got 20 people coming over to help him stand up. And he does the same thing Biden does. Oh, that stair jumped up at me.
Yeah. Well, and that was another thing too. Is like we all saw how sad it was when they kept Biden up there as a puppet. It was really sad, and it was disturbing that they would go that far when the American people knew he didn't have his faculties. You know what I mean? And it was really sad to watch.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, is this not embarrassing for them? I mean, this is elder abuse. Look at it. Look at this cheek. That's from a fall while he was walking through the halls of Congress or something, I think.
Yeah.
Wrist.
Busted up his wrist. Yeah, I remember that.
Messed up his wrist. I mean, it's just like, okay. And it doesn't matter. Republicans, Democrats, whatever. There comes a point where we just can't continue to allow our representatives to be catatonic, to be falling, who can't even, the amount of money you think he would go work out at the gym and keep his leg strength up so he can get up and down out of chairs and walk up and down 2 sets of stairs to get on a podium to speak. I mean, come on, you do make enough money. There he is, catatonic again. It's sad. I don't want him to be that way. I don't want any of them.
And it's the responsible thing to do is term limits and get them out, and don't let them run again. You know what I mean? And do it for us. Do it for the people who are really needing and wanting different things out of their representatives. Right. and newer things and smarter things, and oh my gosh, you know what I mean? This is right. I mean, you look at that compared to what Anna Pauline Luna, you know, Anna Paulina Luna. Look at the difference in that.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you got like Pam Bondi, Anna Paulina Luna. You got Elon. You know, as part of it. You've got Cash Patel. Awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and things that these are people who are smart, tough. Want to get back to, you know, and we hope actions will speak louder, but I hope they get back to what's right for the people, and it sounds like they are. The Doge thing, sorry people, if you think it's bad, you need to reevaluate what you're thinking and stop listening to the people who are yelling. The people who are yelling the loudest against it probably have the most to hide.
Exactly.
So you might want to just kind of check. Yeah. So here's, oh man, here is this is pathetic. Diane Feinstein just passed away. R.I.P. Rest in peace, Diane. But you know what? You were here. Why is it that these people feel a need, or the people around them feel the need to have them continue serving into their late 80s and 90s?
Yeah.
And who is telling them it's okay to keep doing that?
Well, it almost brings me back to the thought of, remember when we were young and, you know, you go walking across the neighbor's grass and he was just this grumpy old man, you know what I mean? Or grumpy old
lawn, you dumb kids.
Yeah. I mean, that's where these, that's where these people's heads are at. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's the get off my grass crew, and really have no business making decisions for our country to make a strong country strong again, you know?
Well, I mean, looking at this Diane Feinstein thing, you see her, you know, in the wheelchair and stuff like that earlier. It's like she was here and she was told what to vote for. She was told, like, if you go back into here and she's in here in the wheelchair, you need to vote no on this, Diane. I mean, Ms. Feinstein, you need to vote no, or whatever it was. And it's just like, okay, we can't have this type of thing going on, because if these people can't make a decision for themselves, why are they still there? Who's allowing them to continue to be in this role? What are they afraid of?
Well, you know, I mean, imagine us being conspiracy theorists, but at the same time, it's like, well, whoever's pulling the strings back there, that doesn't want people to know that they're pulling strings and they want to stay in the shadows. You put puppets up there like this, and you know, you get what you want passed. You know what I mean? Or you get what you want voted
You need
for.
to vote no. I have no idea what I'm doing here. This looks familiar, but I'm 93 years old.
Yeah, and I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm doing. You know, and here she dies at 90. She was. I mean, why are we allowing these people to serve in our government? Go home, enjoy the last years of your life, and be with your kids and your grandkids and your great grandkids, and in this case, your great 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 grandkids. You know, I mean, you're so old, and that it means Chuck Grassley. I have some things of Chuck Grassley as well. You know, it's oh my God, we need to stop this. Get the people with some bright ideas. We got Ruth Bader Ginsberg. Remember how long she hung on?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like, oh my God, people. Oh, she's cancer free though at the time before she passed. You know, but you're making decisions, laws, and rulings on things that you probably shouldn't be.
Well, and they are big things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That affect a lot of people, and it's nothing to just take lightly. You know, to pad our argument just a little bit more, you know, I played baseball when I was young. I was a great baseball player. I was a catcher. I had the captain's mentality, right, about the whole game, because I could see the whole field. I knew it was coming up. I knew the lineups of the opposing teams. I knew who could hit, who couldn't, blah blah blah. Right. But at the same time, I'm 45 now. I have no business being on the field. Right. My brother coaches Little League now. Dude, just in the, I don't know what, 20 years since I was actively coaching, the game has changed so much The strategies have changed so much, and I have no business even being a coach, unless I'm just an extra coach throwing BP. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those are the kind of things that, that these people are not, they're not taking responsibility for, not either of themselves or the people, like I said, behind the screens, behind the shadows that are using them as puppets. And it's really, really sad,
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, as I go through some of these, I mean, there's a list of people who are held. It is time.
Waters.
Yeah, I mean, it is time for these people to stop. I couldn't find, for some reason, I searched for it. I said, old-looking Maxine Waters. I mean, she looks gaunt. I mean, she looks like she is a Skeletor now.
Yeah.
And it's like your age is catching up. She's in her late 80s, and she's still just, trying to do all this stuff. She is so out of touch with everything, and it's pathetic. And we can go through these and they look at this. Maxine Waters and her husband accumulated millions.
Yeah, how?
These people stay in Congress so long they know how to work the system.
Definitely.
I mean, and that's another thing, and you shouldn't be able to do. Look at this. If you're looking this old, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a dick, but it's like, come on,
get off my lawn.
Here's Chuck Grassley. He's a Republican also. Mitch McConnell, Chuck Grassley. Okay, we're not just doing Democrats here. We're doing everybody. And people, you've got to look at this. Come on. So it's term limits are there for a reason. We can't have an octogenarian group of Congress people running our country. We look like buffoons around the world. We don't look fresh. We don't look new. We look like we're the old guard who doesn't know what the hell they're doing anymore.
Well, and another thing that goes is what's being exposed now. I mean, take for instance Maxine Waters. She's one of the leaders in this revolt, so to speak, against Elon and what he's doing, and it's because she's amassed millions and millions of dollars through these slush funds, and she doesn't want that to go away, and she doesn't want to be caught for
all of
various
shit. And that's why they're getting pissed. And that's why when you listen to people, and all the people who are bitching the most, and I hate to say it, and there are Republicans that are bitching as well because they know they're caught as well, but a lot of these are Democrats who are like, oh, Elon, unelected, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's his job. He doesn't need to get into your private information. He doesn't care about your private information. He's not there to steal you've already got all your information out there, people. You really do. And
the guy's worth billions of dollars. What is he going to do with my social security number?
He doesn't give a shit about your social security number.
I am not afraid of anything. And if anything, go ahead, take it, Elon. See where you can get me in there. See where I can get some tax cuts. See where I can, you know what I mean? Like, take it, and maybe you can do better with it than I have.
If you see the list, if you see the list of the shit they're spending money on, the millions here, even the $37,000 for a play in Ireland about DEI.
Yeah.
Why? And then we have millions going here, billions going here and there, and it's nothing. None of this is in the country's best interest.
Yeah.
Why F are we not? And this is why I love Doge taking this shit and providing they're doing everything they are. And I think they are, no matter how much the other side bitches about, oh my God, they're getting in everything. And I can't believe that they're doing this stuff. We're spending. None of this shit affects you. Personally, your budget is not affected. This is spending that USAID has done for all these other things, and all that. Now, the people who are in power the longest, which is why we need term limits again, is because they know how to play this game and they know how to hide the money. And I wish I had this video, and I'll have to get it. Maybe I'll try to interject this in when I edit this. Is when Jon Stewart was interviewing that one gal from the Department of Defense, and she was sitting there talking about audits, and they kind of talking down to him like he's an idiot, like, well, an audit is just this. Oh, so you're worried about the money, the dollars. Yes, we are. If I give you $1 billion for something or $1 million for something, and you can't account for $500,000 100,000 of that million, and you can't tell me where to. Yes, all I can think is abuse, fraud, or corruption. One of the three is happening. So what is it?
Educate me on
Sure.
what
So an audit is
difference.
exactly what you just described,
Yes.
which is, do I know what was delivered to which place?
Right.
The ability to pass an audit, or the fact that the DoD has not passed an audit, is not suggestive of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is completely false right there. So
what is
now is a
suggestive
question of, it's suggestive that we don't have an accurate inventory that we can pull up of what we have where. That is not the same as saying we can't do that because waste, fraud, and abuse has occurred.
So in my world,
Yeah.
that's waste.
How is that waste?
If I give you $1 billion and you can't tell me what happened to it, that to me is wasteful. That means you
Well,
are
we didn't
not
necessarily-
responsible. But if you can't tell me where it went, then what am I supposed to think? And when there has been reporting, I mean, this is not, look, I'm not saying this is on you and that you caused this, but I think it's a tough argument to
I'm pretty
make
sure I
that
didn't cause it.
an $850 billion budget to an organization that can't pass an audit and tell you where that money went. Like, I think most people would consider that somewhere in the realm of waste, fraud, or abuse, because they would wonder why that money isn't well accounted for. And especially when they see food insecurity on military bases, and they see.
You want to talk about that? Because that's a good, we should be talking. I mean,
Well,
I'm
it's
trying to
all-
understand
is-
where you're trying to go, other than the dollars, which really
it's-
bother you.
I think it doesn't really bother me. I think it's all connected.
Okay.
I'm not looking to pick a fight with you, but I am surprised at that the reaction to these questions are, you don't know what an audit is, bucko. Like, that's just weird to me.
Well, how does that not raise flags? How does that not say, like, to the average person, whether you're on the red side or the blue side, is like, whoa, wait a minute.
Whoa.
This is because you can't run any other business that way.
Oh, no.
You can't take investors' money and say, well,
That's for the million, but
That
I only
million?
spent
No.
500 on that, but I'm not going to tell you where the other 500,000 went.
yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. Yeah, but I appreciate the donation, the
Yeah.
investment. You think they're going to? No, you would be. Oh man, they would have your lawsuit against you in 2 seconds flat.
Right.
Anyway, so here's a guy that is explaining. Maybe he's mansplaining a little
Maybe
bit.
it's
too. I don't
mansplaining.
know, but talking about why we need to stop having old people in our Congress.
Dakota recently placed an upper age limit on candidates running for Congress from that state, and it's not really a mystery why. 1 out of every 5 members of Congress are over 70, and only a handful are under 40. This balance is way out of whack with the general public. Here are some of the reasons why. First is basic life expectancy. Americans are living longer, so members of Congress are serving longer. Plus, the Constitution says you have to be at least 25 to serve in the House, 30 to serve in the Senate, so there's some age inflation
35
going
to
on
be
here.
president.
Younger candidates for Congress also face some major disadvantages. They haven't had as much time to establish careers or political networks that poli-sci research says are really essential to electoral success.
It
Plus,
doesn't
our
seem to
20s
matter
and
these
30s are
days.
just more transitional.
Yeah.
None of these people have ever held a job or had a business or had employees
Isn't
ever
that
anyway.
crazy? Isn't that crazy?
I know. It's nuts. Let's listen a little more of what he says.
Moving a lot, changing careers, starting a family, these things aren't exactly conducive to a campaign schedule. But generational balance in Congress is actually really important. Research suggests that when
Yeah.
younger candidates win, it encourages other young people to make the leap and get involved. So whether it's age limits, campaign finance changes, or a little bit of everything, this problem seems like it's worth solving.
Absolutely.
Well, and I gotta tell you, Barn, that with some of these younger people in here, with these fresh faces in here, yes, I'm sorry, they are red. We lean red, but we also point them out too when they're doing a shit job. But you see,
We
these
hold them
younger
accountable.
faces, like Elon, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Levitt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's refreshing, and it's making people like me who generally stayed as far away from politics as I could ever could. You know what I
And
mean?
which we really kind of should. I mean, we shouldn't
Right.
have to be on top of it all, but yeah.
But at the same time, it's making it interesting again. I want
Yeah.
to know what fresh ideas that these people have for us.
Well, yeah, and I
it's
want to know
making it
where our
interesting.
tax dollars are going, for hell's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
why? I mean, I don't want to support sending more shit over to Ukraine while we have, homeless people on our streets, while we have crime running rampant, while we have inflation that's going out of control, and housing costs are way. Why are we not taking care of our border and ourselves first before we start taking care of the rest of the world?
Well, I saw this this figure, and I'll try to pull it maybe for the edit, but at the same time, it was like, how much money would it take in 1 year to combat homelessness as we should, food shortages like we should, this is here, homeless veterans while we should, medical, Medicaid, like we should, all these numbers added up to less money than we had sent to Ukraine in 1 year.
Yeah, a couple $100 billion, I think.
Is it? Yeah, it was like 200 billion or something like that.
Yeah.
And those numbers were wild. And how you can just stare your people in the face and say, well, I think you're going to be okay for another couple of years. We're just going to go ahead and throw this over here.
Well, because if you fix the problem, you're out of a job.
Yeah. How
really
backwards is that?
Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
If I fix the homeless problem, if I fix the border crime, if I fix this, that, and the other, crime, terrorism, all this other shit, we wouldn't be able to hire all these new people for all these new agencies, these new 3-letter agencies going on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, and we've talked about it before. I mean, it's the disease cures too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, why cure cancer, or why
When I can keep
let
you on
that
a
cat out of the
drug
bag?
forever.
Where when I can make you pay for a drug forever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and that's why when you're in Congress for a long time and these games, well, I know we never want to fix this stuff because then I can't get reelected, because then I can always make promises to my constituents to get reelected so I can continue to make insider trading and make millions and all that. This is why we need term limits. Plus, you don't. We're working hard. We're working very hard
diligently every day. We're working on
shit. You're just a fucking lip service, buddy. Yeah, so we need to get rid of some of these people who are in there who know how to work the system. We got to change the system so it can't be worked like it is, and try to get this shit back to the people, because they work for us, but they think they are royalty and that we're supposed to bow down to them.
And putting a
It's
series
ridiculous.
of accountability checks and balances back where they need to be.
Yep. Oh, exactly.
You know what I mean? So we stop being robbed blind by our own, country.
So if you think that we're yip-yapping around about this, here's another video of another gal talking about this whole thing about how we need to get term limits here to keep people out. So let's listen to her.
Politicians in the U.S. are super old. Check out this chart. It shows the share of any given age group that make up Congress throughout American history. Over here you can see our 20 to 29-year-olds and 30 to 39-year-olds. Pretty well represented, but you got to remember this is white male landowners. So meanwhile, fast forward to now. 30 to 39-year-olds, 20 to 29-year-olds at our lowest point of representation ever. 60-plus folks living their best life, extremely well represented in American government. These are the same folks who refuse to retire. We're talking Mitch McConnell, Diane Feinstein, who just died at age 90, Joe Biden, Chuck Grassley. This actually has huge implications for policy because it turns out that different generations have very different views about what's important.
And that's
so true.
It's
so
very true. And that kind of brings home that point. It's like, we have got to stop this bullshit. I'm going to scroll down this list as we're wrapping this up because, I think we understand what we're trying to say here. Is the case for term limits? Yes, there is a huge, huge case for term limits. And some of the bigger ones are, these people are making policies for the rest of us, and they're not going to be around for another 5, 10, maybe 15 years. But the rest of us probably, God willing, and they don't get hit by disease or hit by a car or something like that, are going to be around for a while. And so this will affect us and our children a lot more. So Here's just a list of some of the 10 oldest members of Congress, updated in 2025. Now they didn't put in here like Robert Byrd. Remember Robert Byrd? He was a Ku Klux Klansman that Joe Biden did the funeral, did his eulogy with. He was in his 90s as well. Why are these people allowed? Look at 83 years old Jim Clyburn. You know, this guy is 82, and this is a couple of years ago. So these add 2 years onto this. So 84, 85 years old. We gotta stop this. 85. Nancy's 85. Can you believe that shit right now? 85. Yeah. Why is she still here? 86 years old. Steny Hoyer. I mean, come on. 85. Maxine Waters is pushing 90.
But look at the years in office. Go back up just a little bit. You just for an example, Maxine Waters,
91
from 91 till present. Are you
30,
kidding me? That's 33 years. Yeah, 34 years.
Yeah,
isn't that ridiculous?
How about 20? How about we say 20? 1981.
That's insane.
45 years. Let's see. Nancy Pelosi since 87. I mean, she's pushing almost 50 years there as well. I mean, my God, people. Hal Rogers, this guy is 87 now, and since 81, so 43 years. This is ridiculous. We need this 88. This guy is. I mean, look at this guy. Is this who we want representing our world?
Looks like the crypt keeper. That's
he is
scary.
He is a crypt keeper. Oh.
You know?
Wow, there's another 88-year-old since 2000. So she's only been in for 25 years. I mean, and then Chuck Grassley, 92 years old, just had a birthday. No, it was his years in office. His birthday September 17th, but since 81, I mean, and I like Chuck. He's a good guy. I like, a lot of these people, are try to do the best or whatever, but it's ridiculous, and we can't continue to go down this pathway of these 90-year-olds, upper 80-year octogenarians in this Congress. We look like fools around the world, and then people are breaking their hips, falling off of bicycles, tripping on, boards at, presentations that jump up out of nowhere and trip them. I don't know what the hell's going on with that, but shit, we got to stop it. So, but that's kind of our case. We got to wrap this up, but that's kind of our case for term limits, and I don't think we're alone in this. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how great you are, and it's like probably same thing with Trump. He's pushing 80 now, and this should be his last time in office. Anything after this, since nothing's in place right now, but beyond this, I think you should kind of wrap it up by the time you're 70, 75 at the most.
Yeah, just do us all a favor.
Wrap it up.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you have any comments about this, and what you're thinking about term limits and good, bad, the ugly about it and all that, if you agree with us, disagree with us, please subscribe, throw it in the comments below. Let us know. We'd love to hear what you have to say about term limits. And it can't just be the people you like, people you support. It's got to be everybody, and that's where we are. Everybody's got to go. And
especially if you disagree with this, we'd like to hear your point. We'd like to have a conversation about it and really kind of see where that's coming from. And really kind of maybe come to a even ground on some things. You know what I mean? But exactly. We're always willing to have a chat and just talk. And again, this is for entertainment purposes. These are our opinions, and we're allowed to say our opinions, right, Mark?
Yeah, damn right we are, Daddy-o. So, well, we thank you for joining the podcast. I look forward to the next one. We'll be talking about some more fun stuff. We got to wrap it up today because we got stuff we got to get done. I wish we could do this full time so we can go all day long, because we can certainly do a bunch of fun stuff, and we hope you're entertained a little bit along the way as we're talking about all this stuff. And agree, disagree with us, that's okay. We love to hear it, and we appreciate you joining the podcast today. So
yeah, and if you like us, please go support us at therudebarn.etsy.com. There you can buy some swag. Yep. Barn's wearing the Rude Barn
hat. Rude Barn hat. A little trucker hat.
There's lots of shirts. There's lots of satire stuff. We like to have fun with it. Barnes done a great job at putting a bunch of stuff together. That there's something for everyone, and that's kind of what we like. Yeah. So
we're gonna put some St. Patty's Day stuff up on the store. I just haven't had time to get it going, but we'll get some fun stuff up there as well. So all the proceeds help to move the show along so we can continue bringing you fun content. We love doing this. We love if everybody would just share this with people that you know and say, hey, I hope these guys entertained you enough. You guys should listen to them. Check them out. They're kind of fun, and they have some good topics, and we agree, we disagree, whatever, but hopefully you have a good time no matter what. And we appreciate you joining the show today.
And remember, above all else, question everything.
Okay? Question everything.
Question
why people are pissed off with Doge. Question why we have people serving Congress till 90 years old and beyond. I mean, just why? Why?
And don't take our word for it. Do your own research. Exactly. Go in there, dig deep. Find out, read, talk to your neighbors. You know what I mean?
Get in there. Get that. Pull that shit out. Anyway, we appreciate you guys. Have a good one. We'll see you on the next one. And take care.
Later.